Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 6th Annual USC Viterbi Scholarship and Fellowship Celebration. Please welcome tonight's host, Senior Associate Dean for Advancement, Marianne Schwartz.
Good evening and welcome to USC's 6th Annual Scholarship and Fellowship Celebration. We're honored and delighted to have you join us. Though this event is online this year, we celebrate the transformational power of scholarship at USC Viterbi. Without exception, scholarships and fellowships are the single most meaningful way to support our students. As often, receiving a scholarship is a life changer, making a USC education affordable and available for all. Scholarships have become critical to recruiting and retaining the most talented students worldwide. And for many extraordinary students for whom USC is their first choice, your support in the form of scholarships and fellowships allows them to realize their real potential and dreams. And for this, we thank you. In a year that was like no other, USC Viterbi continued to adapt and innovate. In the following video, please note that some impressive milestones that the school reached last year.
Who is the engineer of tomorrow? In a world where change is exponential, where change is the only constant, we must also change the conversation about engineering, about who we are, what we do, and what we look like. Our engineers must embody agility and resilience, competence and character, the qualities that create trust. As USC Engineering entered its 115th year, the last 16 under the Viterbi name, the school was moving with confident strides to help engineer a better world for all humanity. And then, humanity was confronted with an unthinkable crisis.
Breaking news tonight, the coronavirus forcing millions more Americans into virtual lockdown. Over 75 million people in New York, California, Illinois, and Connecticut.
As the surge of coronavirus cases.
In the face of crisis, USC Viterbi adjusted, innovated, and continued to lead. Nearly 50 years ago, Viterbi pioneered an online course system known today as DEN at Viterbi, the Distance Education Network. DEN has been consistently named by U.S. News & World Report as one of the top 5 online graduate engineering programs in the country, with its computer science and technology program ranked #1 for the 9th consecutive year. This agility and resilience also led the Viterbi faculty to address the pandemic in a deeply meaningful way. The Viterbi versus Pandemics lecture series is a groundbreaking effort that summarizes Viterbi faculty research and the development of new methods to predict, analyze, and combat COVID-19, with topics ranging from the fluid dynamics of contagion to risk estimation and vaccine development. Character also means fighting the pandemic head-on. Viterbi, a co-founder of the Grand Challenges Scholars Program, co-conceived and is helping lead the NAE's COVID-19 call for engineering action. Students, faculty, and engineers across the country contribute to a virtual incubator of ideas with the goal of mitigating the contagion and its impact. This year, a record 6 assistant professors at USC Viterbi received the prestigious National Science Foundation Career Award. Megan McCain and Matul Lahar, Alexandra Korolova and Haipeng Lo, and Daniel McCurry and Chiming Wang. Scott Frazier, jointly with the Dornsife College, was inducted into the National Academy of Medicine. Azad Madni and Zhangxi Pang were elected to the National Academy of Engineers. Keith Chug, Jay Kuo, and Gerald Loeb were elected to the National Academy of Inventors, and Gigi Ragusa received the Presidential Mentoring Award for Science and Engineering. The extraordinary competence of Viterbi's engineers also includes work such as that of Professor Ava Conso, who used a groundbreaking study of the locomotion in sea stars to help design simpler, decentralized systems in robotics. Assistant Professor Mariam Shinechi developed an interface that maps how emotional disorders are represented in the brain, promising new therapies to change the state of mental health. And Professor Krishna Nayak has led an initiative to build a revolutionary, high-performance, low-field MRI center in Michelson Hall, only the 3rd of its kind in the world. Competence also means looking toward the future. Despite the obstacles presented by COVID-19, we are looking forward to the ceremonial groundbreaking for the Ginsberg Human-Centered Computation Building, a 100,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility focused on human-centered computation. This year also marked the opening of the Baum Family Makerspace, a unique multi-purpose center for designing and fabrication by USC Viterbi students. It includes an open design space, a fully staffed machine shop, and a 3D fabrication shop. In this cauldron of innovation, students from all the school's design and competition teams can work side by side, under one roof, cultivating a mindset of growth where leadership, creativity, and collaboration across the disciplines will endure and prevail. But beyond resilience and competence, the engineer of tomorrow requires character. The Viterbi Ethos Project is dedicated to building a sense of ethical responsibility and purpose in our students, helping them understand their role in society and their place in history. The Engineering Humanities program will offer a liberal arts curriculum that is holistically integrated with Viterbi's technical schools. It will instill in our students a desire to practice engineering virtuously. The character of our engineers was tested in 2020, not only by the pandemic, but by a reckoning with some of the darkest chapters of our history. Once again, Viterbi stepped up to lead by pursuing a historic series of initiatives focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. A 2017 ASEE award-winning National Diversity Pledge has gained the signatures of over 230 engineering deans nationwide. A podcasting series, Escape Velocity, focuses on the intersection of race, academia, and STEM, and features the poignant stories of Viterbi's Black faculty, students, and staff. And Viterbi's parity objective aims to enhance diversity in all parts of the engineering pipeline, from K through 12 to undergraduate admissions to faculty recruitment. Diversity drives innovation, and Viterbi is proud to help lead the engineering community into a bigger, bolder, and more inclusive future. When we look back on 2020, we will remember a year of great challenges, but in the post-COVID era, a new generation of engineers will lead us forward. The engineer of tomorrow is the Viterbi engineer, an engineer who builds trust through agility, resilience, competence, and character, who uses technology to eliminate distances in space and time, but most importantly, in hearts and minds. There will always be problems, but all problems are solvable if we work together to engineer a better world for all humanity.
Wow, wasn't that wonderful? So many points of pride for which we can all be grateful. We're so proud of what USC Viterbi has become, and we know that much of our success is because of your support of these extraordinary students. And speaking of extraordinary students, it's now my pleasure to introduce you to our student speaker for the evening, Jacob Totaro. Jacob is a senior studying environmental engineering and is the recipient of the Hakimian Family Scholarship. Jacob has been involved in the USC Viterbi student body and surrounding community, particularly with our environmental advocacy and student engagement. Jacob has served as assistant director of USC's largest environmental organization, the Environmental Student Assembly, and he is president of USC's chapter of the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists. Last summer, he founded an organization called Students Innovating for Global Challenges, which focuses on fostering a community of global thinkers who wish to use their knowledge to innovate a better tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jacob Totaro.
Hi, everyone, and thank you all so much for giving me the chance to express my gratitude for your amazing support. I would like to thank Dean Yortzos and Dean Goulis for the honor to speak to all of you tonight. I would also like to thank my parents, friends, and family as well. And to the donors out there, your generosity and giving goes far beyond the dollar amount we are awarded. Your giving creates lifetimes of opportunity and success for thousands of students just like me. Growing up in rural Georgia, I always dreamed of a bigger city, more diversity, more opportunity, and more to learn. And receiving the Hakimian Family Scholarship at USC Viterbi allowed me to make this dream a reality. When I found out that I received a scholarship, I was ecstatic. Continued scholarship support has made higher education affordable and feasible for students like me. expanding our horizons and empowering us to do more. Scholarship support has made such a big difference in my life. Throughout my years at USC Viterbi, I underwent what felt like exponential growth. I traveled overseas for the first and second time in my life with Viterbi. I fell in love with Parisian croissants and made lifelong friends throughout my volunteer work in Europe's largest refugee camp. Along with an amazing team of students, faculty, and friends, I created a life-improving product for our world's most vulnerable people, and then turned it into a nonprofit that has helped over 2,500 people across places like Greece, Mexico, San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. And last summer, I founded a new organization at USC Viterbi with a focus on doing what I love most, using our priceless education, experiences, and resources to innovate and engineer a better tomorrow. And this summer, after graduation, I'll begin working my dream job as an engineering consultant for a global design and architecture firm that prioritizes sustainability above all. I'm so thankful to everyone that has helped young people like me create unimaginable goals and turn them into attainable successes. Your support is truly changing lives, not just for students at USC, but for people all across the globe who are impacted by advances in academia, innovation, and engineering. So on behalf of all scholarship and fellowship students, we are sincerely honored and grateful to have been the recipients of your generosity, and we hope you will continue your gracious support for years to come. Thank you again for the privilege of being here tonight, and as always, fight on.
Thank you, Jacob. I think you'll all agree that, as the video stated, Jacob is a great example of the engineer of tomorrow. He's one of many students who have benefited from scholarship support. In this next video, you'll meet additional Viterbi scholars and watch as they express, in their own words, the impact that the scholarship support you offer has had on their lives. Please enjoy.
How do you change the world? At USC Viterbi, our mission is to engineer a better world for all humanity. But that starts with changing the conversation about engineering itself, who we are, what we do, and what we look like. How do we ensure the best and the brightest from all walks of life have the opportunity to learn the competence and character needed to engineer a better world? How do we provide access and affordability for the engineers of tomorrow? In the last 10 years, USC Viterbi has launched 133 new scholarships and fellowships worth over $32 million, shattering previous records and more than doubling all giving in the school's first 100 years combined. In 2020, Viterbi's freshman class was the most supported in history, with 17 Dean Scholars, 71 Trustee and Presidential Scholars, and 162 University Scholars.
Scholarships allow us to recruit at USC and enroll students who are very talented, but they don't have the means to attend the university.
I would not be here today without scholarship, and there's so many students like me.
It just never occurred to me that I could actually go here because of our financial situation. And then when I got it, it was just the most joyous occasion.
When I first found out, I lost it. None of my parents went to college. My dream is literally to be a computer architect.
People come in with different backgrounds, different experiences. That provides a way by which we expand our thinking, our knowledge.
I think it's really important to see people in the role that you want to take on look like you, or at least be able to relate to what you've gone through.
People have different perspectives. It's so nice to see all these different people that before didn't have the opportunities that we have now.
I grew up in a predominantly Black, low-income community, and STEM education isn't as accessible. When the Viterbi Scholarship came in, it was like lifting a huge weight off our shoulders.
There's another thing about scholarship, that this is not simply the ability to attract, it's a recognition of the talent of the person. We want you to be successful, and we want to enable this to happen.
To go to a place, an institution that values what I'm putting in is an amazing feeling.
There was a fundamental change when I heard this news. I saw my project as someone else believing in it.
I've worked so hard for so long, and to know that it was noticed, I wanted to do even more after I got the scholarship because I knew people believed in me,
It's very important that we have in our curriculum not only the technically competent part, but also the character part, the impact that you can have to society by solving big problems. And this is where scholarships come in.
Scholarship has enabled me to pursue my career in the lens of humanitarian efforts rather than this pressure to make money.
When you're able to take something of your own and give it to someone else, I think that's true character. I hope to one day pass it forward, and I want to help make a difference in the medical world.
An engineer is someone who builds the future, who innovates, who fixes problems that currently exist and makes them better.
I graduated USC, and I'm working as a flight software engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I mean, it's crazy. That's my dream job.
I'm currently a first-year PhD student at Stanford studying electrical engineering. Without the scholarship, I don't think I would have had the ability or the confidence to pursue this PhD.
I graduated this past May of 2020, and then I started my job with a company called Burns & McDonnell. I would not have been able to do any of that without some of the help through scholarships.
So I had the opportunity to work at SpaceX this past summer, which has been my dream since high school, and I'm excited to return starting in January on the Dragon Propulsion Systems team.
It's been 4 years since I've got my scholarship, and I've been able to do so much at USC through it, and was actually able to land a full-time job, kind of my dream job, working in advanced design for Northrop Grumman in Redondo Beach.
Scholarships are helpful to students because it allows them the freedom to pursue their passions. Today I'm working as an R&D engineer at Medtronic in their diabetes division, and that's exactly where I envision myself to be.
Scholarships allow students to ensure that what you're doing is going to be the most impactful way to help others for you personally.
When I graduated this May 2020, I was actually recognized as the Viterbi valedictorian. And since then, I am now at the Keck School of Medicine at USC.
The need for scholarships will always be there. The more support we have, the more we'll be able to attract students to offer bigger and better opportunities for them.
All students don't come from the same financial background, myself included. And so the more scholarships, the better for students, because the students really need these scholarships.
The greatest gift you can give to someone is to believe in them. It is life-changing for not only the financial component, but really the belief in yourself.
For 115 years, USC Viterbi has helped our students become the engineers of tomorrow. And because of the scholarship and fellowship support they receive, students who once had no choice now have the best choice. When you fund a scholarship, you change a life. When you change a life, you change the world.
Scholarship support truly makes a difference in the lives of so many students. Why do so many of our donors choose to support student scholarship? We look forward to finding the answers to these questions tonight from our longtime supporters, Jerry and Janet Kohlenberger. Jerry and Janet are both proud USC alumni, Jerry with an undergraduate degree from Viterbi in 1974 and an MBA from Marshall in '81. His wife, Janet, also earned her undergraduate degree in 1974, as well as her master's a year later, both from USC Dornsife. The couple lives in McLean, Virginia, and have 2 grown children. They enjoy all sports and are big USC Trojan fans. Jerry and Janet have established endowed scholarship funds at both the USC Marshall School of Business and the USC Viterbi School of Engineering. It is now my privilege and pleasure to introduce our longtime friends and supporters. Joining us from their home in Virginia, Jerry and Janet Kohlenberger.
Hello to everybody there at the Viterbi Scholarship Dinner. We're Janet and Jerry Kohlenberger. We're proud 1974 graduates of USC. Hard for us to believe that it's almost exactly 50 years ago when we first met on campus. Great memories, as many of you students are building right now. We were asked to say a few words about our support for the school and about Viterbi specifically. As with everything else in life, it's been a long and kind of an unplanned journey. Started with both of us attending USC as undergraduates. Janet came to USC from her home in Upland, just an hour or so drive away from campus. I, on the other hand, grew up near Chicago, Illinois. Was so naive that I'd never even flown on an airplane before I first took it out to campus. I was pretty good in science and math though, and I wanted to go to an engineering school. My folks considered moving to California and suggested that I look into schools out there. They never did move out, but I did get accepted at USC. Didn't think we could afford it, but the school came through with a Sealy Mud Engineering Scholarship, which made attending USC cost competitive with going to the University of Illinois, and at that point, no contest. Let me take you back now about 20 years, about 2002, and how we basically kind of got involved again in USC. We had moved to Virginia in 1980, about 20 years earlier, and frankly had lost touch with the school. Then we got a call from Max Nikias, who happened to be in DC and asked to meet us for dinner. When we got home after Max's dinner, Janet and I discussed the topic of trying to give back some of what we were fortunate in order to have received, namely perhaps some scholarship money to those who otherwise might not be able to attend SC. So we set up scholarships at both Viterbi and at Marshall, where I also attended, to enable just that to happen.
I've been astounded at some of the projects that these kids have worked on, prenatal heart monitors or pacemakers, and it's beyond my comprehension, but I've just been so impressed. We really enjoy seeing the students, the variety of students, and we like to think they're making a difference in giving back to the world at large.
So we hope that you can kind of glean from this. We love giving back. We love to see the students, and hopefully that we have impact on their lives. It's absolutely a fantastic set of students that we're now getting into USC. There's no way I could get back into that school with my credentials. So I'm absolutely enormously impressed with what they do, the internships that they get, and we're just happy to play a small part in their lives. So we hope that some of the alumni that are there, I know, are already involved in this, and others, we wish that you may be able to consider, again, giving some of that back to the school as well. We leave some of the rest of you with some other thoughts to the students. It's a great, well-rounded university, and we're hoping that you have lots of fun while you're there, but those books and the studies come first. You can never have an extra second shot to excel in some of this. You need to do it the first time you're going through. The professors there are terrific. We hope that you're able to fill these fantastic minds that are there and carry on a super tradition of educating and supporting the students with distinction. My friend, dear Dean Yortzis, you're the best, Giannis. We look forward to seeing you soon. Keep doing what you do best. You're all associated with an absolutely top-notch university. It's a great school within that university as well, and you're doing noble work of shaping young people, and for you young people being shaped for what I consider an exciting future, all in God's country in California, no less. Life doesn't get any better. So enjoy, and to you all, fight on.
Thank you, Jerry and Janet, for those inspiring remarks. Your generosity truly is making a difference in the lives of our Viterbi students. I would now like to welcome our Senior Associate Dean of Viterbi Admissions and Student Engagement, or VASE, Kelly Gulas. Having served formerly as the Director of the Information Technology Program, the Executive Director of our top-ranked Den at Viterbi program, and as the Senior Associate Dean of Graduate and Professional Programs, Kelly oversees VASE, which combines all admissions and student affairs for both the undergraduate and graduate programs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my colleague and friend, Kelly Gulas.
Thank you, Marianne, and thank you all for being here tonight. What a wonderful way to celebrate our students' academic achievements, which is due in part to the generosity of so many. When we gathered in person on campus for this event back in 2019, no one could have anticipated how the world would have changed just a few months later. But despite the challenging year that we have experienced collectively, it has assured us that technology and science will continue to be called upon for solutions to difficult problems. Indeed, USC Viterbi has already come through these challenging times in extraordinary fashions. Perhaps because we already had considerable experience with online teaching. Perhaps because of the cohesiveness of the school. Or perhaps because of our ability to consistently reinvent ourselves. Though the transition to a new world was not easy, faculty, students, and staff adjusted, created, innovated, and continued to lead in a world of uncertainty, apprehension, and extraordinary constraints. We remain committed to you, our students, our families, and our supporters. That's where tonight comes in. The annual Scholarship and Fellowship Celebration has definitely become one of my favorite events. It represents everything that we are about here at USC Viterbi: opportunity, equity, and of course, academic excellence. Because of scholarship and fellowship support, our students are poised to leverage technology for the benefit of society. Each gift to support a scholarship or fellowship is transformative in its own way and represents you, our donors, and your unambiguous support of our vision and mission. Helping the most talented and motivated students achieve the dreams of a USC education, regardless of their financial situation, has always been a priority for the university. As far back as 1880, when tuition was just $15 per term, students needed financial assistance, and donors throughout the USC community responded by making gifts to support them. What has been the impact of scholarship support on our students? Recently, I sat down with 2 scholarship students and asked them what impact receiving a scholarship has had on their lives. Let's watch. I have here with me 2 students, Nick Bartolone, who's a junior studying mechanical engineering, trustee scholar and Viterbi fellow, and Radhika Agrawal, who's a senior studying computer engineering and computer science. She's a presidential scholar and a Viterbi fellow. So I want to thank you both, Nick and Radhika, for spending a few moments with me to discuss the impact of scholarship and fellowship support for your personal and academic lives. Nick, we're going to go ahead and start with you. So why don't we start by just having you tell us, why did you choose USC?
I would say one of the main factors for me choosing USC was, on paper, just the opportunities that are presented to all the students. Every time I thought about, what do I want to do in college? Do I want to be able to pursue a minor? Do I want to be able to study abroad? Do I want to be able to pursue an accelerated master's program? Having USC just say yes to that in every aspect was, incredible. I didn't think that I was going to be able to do all 3 of those things, and so far, all 3 of those things are part of my undergraduate and academic experience here at USC. And then being a scholarship finalist and eventually receiving that trustee scholarship and Viterbi fellowship just showed me how valued I was by USC. I wasn't just an application they were reviewing or a good GPA. I was a fully fleshed human in their eyes, and it made me want to come to USC because I knew I would succeed there. I knew I had support in everyone, not just from professors, but from academic services, and as well as I found out later on my peers as well. So it ended up being definitely the correct decision. I haven't had a single regret about it, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities I've been able to pursue since coming to USC.
That's great, and I'm so glad that you've had a chance to kind of immerse yourself in all the various opportunities. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how receiving a scholarship has affected you or impacted you personally and your academic life overall?
Definitely, yeah. I would say directly, part of the scholarship was exceptional funding units, which provide 8 units on the same level of scholarship. So for a trustee scholar, that would be 8 units at full tuition covered. And I was able to use those when I participated in the Viterbi Overseas program, where I was able to study abroad for 7 weeks in Paris, France. And then in the summer between my sophomore and junior year, I was able to also take a couple of classes and subsidize those with the remaining units. And from that, I was able to pursue the progressive degree program in mechanical engineering and engineering management. That is technically a dual degree program. So I didn't think I was going to be able to complete it in a year. It looks like I'll just be staying around for 1 extra year to do that, which I am so unbelievably excited about. But on more of the soft side of things, again, it's having that kind of always feeling like you have support and that backing in whatever I decided to do. I'm a big proponent of using college as a time to explore what you're interested in and figure out what's right for you. And knowing that I had this support to do what made me me in the end was so helpful. I was able to go out and try to see what minor best fit me. I ended up landing on the disruptive innovation minor in the Ivy and Young Academy. Then on top of that, I was able to apply for student jobs like the Viterbi Student Ambassadors and to become a tour guide, where I'm currently the head tour guide for this year. So it's all of these opportunities that I felt empowered to do because of the way I felt supported and invested in by USC and by the scholarship itself.
Oh, that's great. Wow, you've been quite busy, and we're so fortunate to have you here for 1 more year. So we have a lot of new prospective donors here with us tonight, what would you say to them for those who might be considering supporting students through scholarship support, and how important that's been for you?
First and foremost, I would say thank you to just coming to even this event and having this under your consideration. I know if given the chance to figure out who was sponsoring me, I would be so open and willing to thank them, meet with them, and tell them how much that's impacted my life, how much this scholarship and this experience has changed my life. I think beyond just the monetary value and what it's doing in terms of tuition or in research stipends or things like that, it goes in, like I was saying, it's empowerment, it's investment in a person to become the best version of themselves that they can be. And especially coming out of working so hard through all of grade school, especially those last 2-3 years of high school, and feel completely validated for the work you're doing. I don't think there's any feeling like that. I can remember the experience of getting into USC early with that finalist status and then eventually getting that scholarship and feeling just no other sense of joy or excitement or just pride in myself that I've ever felt before. And I think taking that kind of what the scholarship means beyond just the money is what's empowered me to do so much at USC and what makes me so grateful for the scholarship itself. So all in all, it's so much more than just the money. You're literally changing people's lives and giving them so much more empowerment in themselves based off of kind of, again, this investment, this backing. So I don't think there's any way to thank you all enough for even considering that.
That's wonderful. And you've accomplished so much, and it's great that you've put the scholarship support from our donors to such wonderful use in pursuing your dreams. Radhika, I'm going to ask you the same questions. So why did you choose USC?
Hi, yeah, pretty much similar to Nick, actually. It was just the wide variety of opportunities that are available to you here. So one of the big things that I took advantage of was the research. In high school, was introduced to this field called socially assistive robotics, which was pioneered by Dr. Maya Matarik. And so I grew up kind of idolizing her, and then I was suddenly given the opportunity to come to USC and literally work in her lab from day one as a freshman, my first time stepping foot on this campus. And so I think for me, that was a huge part of my decision, was being able to get the Viterbi Fellow Scholarship and be supported in my research and pursue what I was really interested in, robotics research, and do that with the support of the school. So that was a huge part. And then pretty much like Nick as well, Engineering Plus is something that Viterbi stresses a lot. And that's just being able to do more than just be an engineer and go and get that multidisciplinary experience. And so for me, that manifested in a minor in future cinema. And I wouldn't have been able to do that at all without the USC scholarship and the support that I got. So for me, the scholarship was a big part of my decision as well.
That's great. And so what impact, and you've mentioned this a little bit, and I know Dr. Matarik, she's quite amazing, so you're very fortunate to have the opportunity to work in her lab. What impact has receiving a scholarship had on both your life personally and your academic life as well?
Yeah, one of the other benefits of being part of the scholarship class is that I got to live in the McCarthy Honors Dorm my freshman year. And that kind of set the basis for my experience throughout college. I met a lot of people who I'm still very close with today and probably will be for the rest of my lives, who were also honors scholars and just were so motivated and ambitious and were like doing really cool things and constantly encouraged me to do the same. And so I think that network really made a difference in my life, in finding mentors and being a mentor to others as well. And one of the benefits of that especially is being a female in Viterbi. I never felt unsupported. I always had people around me who were doing just awesome work alongside me. And so as a female in engineering, that was really important and integral to my success. And so because of this scholarship, I was able to live in that dorm and get those experiences, meet those people. And that has really helped me in my career long-term as well.
Oh, that's great. And what would you say to prospective donors that are considering supporting students like you through scholarship support?
I would say thank you so much in advance. For me, it really did change my life. I am president of 2 clubs. I'm going to be working at a robotics startup, basically living what I had dreamed of 4 years ago as a high school student. And so I wouldn't have been able to do any of that without this scholarship. And I know that a lot of my friends feel the exact same way. And if you do decide to donate, you would really be changing people's lives. And so I don't think there's any other way that we can thank you besides just, showing you how awesome your gift is.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's just so great to hear all of your accomplishments. You guys have done so much in the last 4 years, and I know that we're very proud, and I'm sure all of our donors are very impressed by what you've been able to accomplish. So I just want to thank you for all your expressions and what you shared with us today, and continue to thrive and do wonderful things, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the future. Beautiful expressions from our lovely students, wouldn't you agree? What our students' expressions demonstrate is that the need for scholarship support is more urgent than ever. As we continue to face times of uncertainty, the world will impatiently need talented engineers with their skills, their knowledge, their mindsets, and their character, and as soon as possible to help us engineer the fast recovery and a new and bright future. To our donors, I would like to say thank you for being here tonight. We could not do it without you. Your support enables our students to be the engineers of tomorrow, to help change the world through science and engineering. I wish to say thank you to our speakers tonight. You beautifully expressed the importance of scholarship and fellowship support. And I appreciate your willingness to share your thoughts and your personal journeys with all of us. And to the many students and Viterbi families, I am very happy that you were able to join us. Your presence has made this night even that much more special. Without question, this is the most exciting time in the history of engineering. It is definitely the most exciting time in the history of our school. We look forward to welcoming everyone back to campus as all of us continue the important work together, in person, to engineer a better world for all humanity. I will conclude by repeating a phrase from our video. When you fund a scholarship, you change a life. When you change a life, you change the world. Thank you all very much, and fight on.
Thank you, Kelly. What a wonderful, inspirational evening. Thank you all for coming. I'm pleased to announce that the student video you saw is now live on our USC Viterbi YouTube page. We will send you a link and hope that you will share it with your friends and families as you tell others about the impact that scholarships and fellowships are having here at USC Viterbi. As we conclude, we again express our appreciation to scholarship and fellowship donors joining us tonight. Your thoughtful donations indicate that you agree that scholarships and fellowships truly change lives. Stay safe, be well, and fight on.